Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. Will you hear my voice? Good evening, Axel, Novi, Aldea, John, Ayla, Marilyn, Alexa, and Kara. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for responding, Axel. Yeah, how good your long holiday? You have long holiday after the last sessions, and today we are in the crucial sessions before our midterms. As you've seen in your virtual class, the virtual class is coming back again after several crash from uh, the server. Today we are in the meeting in 14 April 2025 with topics about reviewing five uh, essential topics that should be prepared you before the midterms. And for the informations, the midterm will be assessed in next Sunday. I'm sorry, on the next Monday in 21st of April. Uh, but you need to be careful because this link to answer the questions, it's only by the UVC, not by the emails. You need to log into the UVC. You need to read the questions and also type your answer directly to the UVC. And these quizzes or the midterms will be open only in the time of or the durations of the midterm test in 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Indonesia time. So maybe 7 to 9 p.m. in your country. So the attempts will be submit before the time expired because you can make log out and log in again after you can make several attempts, but you need to be submitted before the time expired. This is how we do in our midterms. So for the details, you can ask about the another informations according to the midterms. And now we have reviewing sessions like the preparations before the midterms. As I said before, that this sessions is especially to prepare you how to take some insights from the previous courses. Actually, for the five essentials materials or the five essentials topics that has been corrected, has been directed to you, and also you have learned until today. So the sessions will have two kind of objective to reinforce your understanding and the key concept in the public sector accounting, and also it's practicing how to predict the relevant questions to answer the relevant questions and creating about your exam readiness. Yeah, we start about the first topic. The topic number one is that talk about the introductions before we entering these specific courses. It's introductions to the public sector accountings. In these topics, in the first sessions, we learn about the definitions, what is the public sector accountings, and what is the characteristic, the differences between our public entities and the private sector entities. You have learned all of this one, and what kind of the users, what kind of the actor should be embedded in the public sector financial informations. You have learned so much in the topic number one while we doing about the introductions to these public sectors. So from this topic, it could be you can find maybe four types of these questions, but this is not the real questions. This is maybe how to or maybe one or two of these questions will be generate for your midterms. For examples, you need to answer about what is the definitions between the public sectors and what is the main purpose, why we need a public sector accountings, not only the private sectors. So you need to define, you need to explain in your terms and also with your for several examples to confirm and to create about strong answers with your explanations. The second another question is about listing about the key differences or what kind of differences or characteristic between the public and private sectors. And then when we're looking at with the primary users or the direct user in the public sector accounting, you need to provide some examples. So in this, if you found about these questions like this one, the example is depend on your knowledge in your country, not in Indonesia. Even I told you I'm from Indonesia and you are from Philippines and Bangladesh, you still provide your examples in your country. I can gather some informations with another country, but you need to provide the examples as the knowledgeables area that you have learned. Okay. Next question is uh maybe it's like about the essential terms like the accountability. Accountability is more than responsibility, it's more than uh yeah, how we have some obligations to the user or to the country. Yeah. You need to emphasize what is the accountability meaning in the public than in the private sector of accounting. So when we talk about the topic one in introductions to public accounting, it's mostly by the definitions, it's mostly by the your explanations. It's a basic foundations why you learn the public sector and why you get the first informations about the public sector accounting or public sector entities. I think that's all the kind of the questions that should be or could be interesting to be asked in related to the topic number one. The next topics that we learn in the class is about the regulatory of framework in the public sector accountings. In these sessions, we learn about the institutions that should be involved in as the regulator in every countries. So it should be by the national standard or it may be using an international standard. So the national international standard could be same and sometimes most of them it should be in difference because the characteristics or the type of international standard is not fit for all countries. So you need to learn about the importance, why they should compliance, why they should make some different standards. From these topics, we can infer two questions. How the national standard should be differ from the IPSAS in practice. So as we know that IPSAS is from International Public Sector Accounting Standard. So we need to make some differences between the national standards that's only applied in our country to the international standard that should be applied in a global area. So that must be a difference. So you need to find out what is the differences. The next question is why we have some regulatory compliance and why is it essentials? We need to obey or we can do by in normals or normalizations, just only for as usuals, not by the regulators. So you need to create some explanations why we need to do with some regulatory frameworks in a public sector accounting. This may two questions that could be happen or could be summed up when we talk about the second topic in the regulatory framework. The next topics We talk about the international standard, or we call IPSAS, International Public Sector Accounting Standards. In these sessions, we learn about the objective, why the international organizations develops a global standards, the global objective, and develops the global regulator. What is the meaning or what is the comparisons between the private sector while using the IFRS and in the public sector we using an IPSAS. We also learn about the scientific examples, the specific examples like the IPSAS number one for the explanation of financial reports. It's just number two for the cash flow and the others for the combination of business. And also the challenges and the benefit while we adopt an IPSAS become to the national standards. So it's depend on the country's conditions. From these topics, we can find about the four related questions. We can find about the main objective of IPSAS in the globals, and you can compare with the financials global standard like the IFRS. It should be different, yeah, because the one standard is applied in the public and another standard applied in private sector. It should be a differences. And you can describe about the IPSAS number one and 32, yeah. It's the interpretations of public financials report and also with the consolidations. So you can also mention about the challenges that we face in the developing countries, like our countries, like Philippines, Bangladesh, and also Indonesia. We still in the developing countries, and we have some of a struggle effect to implement this IPSAS standard. In the next topic we learn in the class is about the consolidated financial statement, especially for public sector. We learn about the key concept, what is the purpose and the importance preparing about the consolidated financial statement. This consolidations is also reporting in a two kind of methods, a full method and the proportional methods. The differences you can check from your previous PowerPoint. And for the IPSAS and the consolidated, they have the specific terms that should be required to be filled up by the country. And in the sessions, I also giving you an examples, a case study from the European Commissions in a video. So you can learn it back, maybe for your recordings in the class recordings. And for this topic, we can create some example of questions like why we need a consolidations report, why we don't make a single reports. Is it local or maybe for the central government should be prepared about consolidations? You can answer the questions. And what is the differentiations between the consolidation and proportional in these methods, a full or proportional? And the last question that should be sum up from this topic is about what is the role to consolidation process under this standard using the IPSAS. Yeah, most of this is based on the IPSAS standard. The last topic that we made in the previous meeting before the holiday is about the public sector management's controls. We learn about the history, why we need a management controls, why we need to take some actions, and we learn about the traditional methods and the new public managements that are currently applied in a modern country. While they have the differences, we also make a similar measurements using a balanced scorecard because this scorecard will use about the benchmarking and it still happens globally. So we can create some comparisons between country to country to make a benchmark using a balanced scorecard. With these tools also we can monitor about the controls from the governments to the citizens or in other way from citizens to the governments. If there are any self-control from the agent or the citizens or trust control and also with the high trust control in the model of monitoring. These topics, it could be generous in a four kind of questions, like what is the role of management controls? Why we need that? Is it possible to do run or public sector accounting or public sector institutions without management controls? You may check your answers. And for the two kind of era using the traditional public management and new public management, please make some comparison. Where is the better one or what is the differences between the TPM and NPM? And then the questioning about the measurements. Why we need a balanced scorecard while we only have a financials predictions. So for these questions, you may have the several answers. Like maybe we cannot measures only by the number or the money, but they should be an performance without a number. So how do we make these measurements? Just one of the way to measure is using a balanced scorecard. The last examples that should be happen is about the advantages. If we have the trust-based control system in our government organizations, will citizens trust in 100% or a perfectly trust to the governments? I think it's not like that. But you need to give some explanations. What is the advantages if our citizens is fully trust in our governance system for the control? I think it could be happens. The world without corruptions, without collusions, and without like the personal interest. But will it happen? I don't know. You can make some explanations to answer that. Yeah. After the five topics, we have I give you a time to discuss with your another friends. We call it about the group discussions because it's a very, very adaptive. This question is belong to our materials from chapter 1 to chapter 5, but it should be implemented perfectly in your conditions. For examples, what is the main barrier where while your country adopting IPSAS? I don't know what is the condition in the Philippines and in Bangladesh, and I know only in Indonesia. But we also have a barriers as the peoples, as the common peoples. We sometimes know that there is a barriers. Especially if you are learning about accountings, you will know about the barriers, specifically in the financial system. Then don't forget to prepare about your opinion, how we can make some public trust to the governments. What kind of trust? About the financial reports. It's a fake number, it's a real number, or should be improved, or we take it for granted. I need to hear your opinions in the UVC. So please prepare for the next week for the midterms. You take some information. What is the barrier to apply IPSAS in your country? And the second, based on your knowledge, the best of your knowledge, how we can make a public trust to the government financial reports. It should be okay, should be improved, or should be there's too many problem over there. And uh, the last points, I need your suggestions. Can the performance informations truly objective? Please answer this by your knowledge. If you think that the performance measure in the public sector, especially in your country, is truly objective, so I think you have a good democracies. I think you have a good transparency. I think you have a high of accountability. But if it is enough for running a country, we don't know because everyone is changed, especially about the public sector agents or the public sector actors, like the presidents, like the prime minister, or maybe with several of the government agents. Sometimes they can make some changes because they can be measures not only by the performance. Yeah. Sometimes they can measure by their satisfactions. Sometimes they can measure by their ability to create some efficient budgets. So, what is your suggestions? Can be um, truly objective while we measure the performance in the public sector using the financials or maybe with the several standard or several indicators that we can rely on the current situations like us, like Indonesia or like the Philippines. See, this is the preparations point that you should be learns in your meantime. Maybe you have 1 week to prepare of all this, and yeah, this informations about the PowerPoints has been sent up to your UVC in this ones in the mid preparations PPTX, and you can download. You can prepare yourself. You will have a 1 week for preparations. And please be prepared for this agenda in 21 Aprils. This is no online meeting, just for midterms. You just go to the virtual class. You can access the questions and type your answer, write your answer directly to this UVC. So we do need any Zoom meetings or maybe if you want to ask some questions, you can ask me by an emails or you can chat me. And after that, the midterms will be closed in 8 p.m. after 2 hours from the openings. And we can meet again in the next weeks in April 28th with another topics about how to creating some public sector management accounting to continue about the performance measurements. So that's that I should be inform you before you make some time to midterms or preparations. Any questions so far from the student? Any questions so far? Okay, no questions so far. Yeah. Uh, After this ones, you have 1 week for preparations, and please in the next weeks, our UVB, Catherine and Alexa, please help me to remind the students that there is no another online meetings for next weeks. They just do uh, the midterms using the virtual class, answer the questions with direct writings in the UVC, and they only have 2 hours for the durations in the meeting.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Before we close the sessions, um, I would like to say thank you for everyone who joined this class today, and